The Whispers' career is a study in perseverance. They got together around the time of the Cuban Missile Crisis. And then, through JFK's assassination, Lyndon Baines Johnson's presidency, Richard Nixon's presidency, Gerald Ford's presidency, Jimmy Carter's presidency, for crying out loud. They went through, the Whisperers' career in the early going is just like, you go through the Civil Rights Act, you lose Dr. King, you lose Malcolm X, the rise of the Black Panthers, the fall of the Black Panthers, the fall of Saigon in Vietnam, the sexual revolution in the 70s, people going to watch porn movies in theaters and this type of stuff. And, to get two gas crises, there were two gas. People don't understand there were two gas crises, one in 73, one in 79. So by the time, the Whispers' career is basically American history. If you want to study American history, just look at the Whispers' career. Everybody, you're right on time for another ride on the Groove Line with your host, Chris Stevens. Hopefully you all are doing well out there. We made it to Friday, and yesterday was my birthday, and I want to thank everyone for the well wishes and the kind words. And it's been fun doing shows every day this week. It's been a challenge, but we got to the end of the road, and this is the finale for Whispers Week. If you missed the first 3 episodes of Whispers Week, we talked about my first favorite Whisper song, which is My Heart, Your Heart. We counted down the top 10 Whisper slow jams, in my personal opinion. Same for the top 10 Whispers albums. And today, since it's Friday, we're going dancing to the weekend. We are going to talk about the top 10 Whispers dance floor joints. Songs that are designed to get you up and moving, which is something the Whispers could do. I think that's the thing that people forget about a lot of acts back in the day. Like, yeah, you had your balladeer groups. Yeah, you had your funk groups, your rock groups, your disco groups, and all of that. But you had to be equally good on both ends, burn both ends of those candles, so to speak. Like, yes, you could be a dance group, but you still had to have at least 1 or 2 songs that were what they would call the blue light in the basement songs. Those type of deals where, people would slow dance, and start, setting up plans for when it's time to go home. So, when you need to be as good on your up tempos as you are on your ballads, and vice versa. So the Whispers were one of those groups. Like I said, the Whispers got about 40, 50 love songs that you could just put on shuffle and just have yourself a great evening. I don't know if it's that many for dance floor jams, but there are enough, trust me. And we've got the top 10. So let's get to it. Number 10, and you guys will probably say, but Chris, it seems like you hated this album. No, I don't hate More of the Night. It's the first Whispers album I remember. But going back and listening to all their old stuff, when I did, it was like, yeah, I see why they didn't like this album. But yeah, Innocent from More of the Night. And this is the Whispers with a New Jack Swing vibe, kind of got them sounding a little bit like Guy, like Bobby Brown, like Belle Biv DeVoe, New Edition, Troop, whatever, because that was the sound in 1990. And Walter and Scotty pulled it off for sure. They had the voices that they could do it, but it just was like, this ain't the Whispers. This ain't the Whispers that we know and love. Of course, this was their first album after they left Solar and went to Capitol Records, and Capitol was like, all right, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to update your sound. We're going to make you guys fresh. We're going to make you guys relevant. And the Whispers have been relevant the entirety of the 1980s and most of the 70s, if you want to keep it a buck. So, but yeah, Innocent isn't a bad song. If you hear it, hey, listen, girl, I can't explain what happened to me. Like, yeah, you're going to dance because it's just a danceable track, but it would sound better if it was done by, if Ricky Bell was singing on this, or even Johnny Gill, or possibly, could Aaron Hall carry this? Yeah, Aaron Hall could carry this. Absolutely. Aaron Hall's a, kind of sort of persona non grata for different reasons, but yeah, if we're just talking strictly music, yeah, Aaron Hall could carry Innocent too. But yeah, Walter and Scotty did a great job on this, even though it's not what you would consider a Whispers track. It's basically the record label saying, this is what you got to do to sell records, and Whispers like, all right, man, whatever. And they still nailed it. That's just how good they were. Number 9, Tonight, from the 1983 album Love for Love. As I mentioned previously, this was written by the late Jerry Knight, who, of course, was in Radio with Ray Parker Jr., and, of course, was a part of Ollie and Jerry, who had Breakin', Ain't No Stopping Us from the Breakin' movie. And Jerry was also a songwriter. And Tonight leads off Love for Love. And it's one of the hardest tracks that a song that was conceived in late 1982, early 1983 should be like it starts the album off for one. Like it's not even a question of what the Whispers thought of this track, what Dick Griffey, who was running Solar Records at the time, thought of this track. They were like, let's start the album with this because we're gonna get people up and moving. We're gonna set something off with this song. And tonight is just one of those records like the drums thump. I mean, the keyboards are tremendous. And of course, you get your great vocal performances from Walter and Scotty, Lavelle, Nick, and Marcus. And tonight we're gonna paint the town. No more messing around tonight. Like, yeah. I think that love can be like it is like it's one of my favorite late adulthood. Well, not late adulthood. I'm still very young. I mean, I'm 44. I'm not going anywhere yet. Knock on wood. but but yeah, tonight bangs harder than any song from early 1983 has a right to bang. Like I think this was around the time that producers really started to get a hold of, working with drum machines, because you could tell like 80, 81, 82, they were struggling with, going between live drummers and drum machines. By 1983, by the end of 82, early 83, I was like, all right, man, we know how to work these things. So let's go ahead and use them. That marked a line in the sand for producers, instrumentalists, studio musicians, bands. Like now that we've got the technology, we ain't got to pay a drummer. We don't have to pay a bassist to play this synth bass. We don't need strings now that we have these keyboards that can do all sorts of magical things. And it's like, yeah, the technology's cool, but I mean, live musicians still rock. Whatever the case, tonight it's a jam. I think you will like it if you haven't heard it before. So we skipped to number 8 now, and of course, this is the title track from the 1974 album Bingo, and this was done by Philly musicians Ron Baker, Norman Harris, and Earl Young, and had songs written by Bunny Sigler and Joseph Jefferson, Bruce Hawes, and Charlie Simmons, who of course did a multitude of work for the Stylistics. And Bingo is a song basically about a dude who strikes it rich with this woman, like, since I kissed your lips. Here come in those Philly International words. Dun, 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 dun. Seems I struck you rich. It's an amazing song. Like it's like I said, I always will wonder what would happen if Kenny and Leon had reached out to Dick Griffey and said, "Yo, we need the Whispers. We'll put everything behind the Whispers." The sound of music and probably Philly International's reign could look a lot different if the Whispers had not gone with Dick Griffey and formed Soul Train Records with Don Cornelius and then eventually Solar. But as it is, Bingo is just one of those songs that if you're a Philly head of a certain age, probably closing in on 70 now, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, if you were dancing in the clubs back in those days and you heard Bingo and you hear it now, it's like, I was a man down on my luck. You came along and you picked me up. You must be my lucky number. Again, just listen to Bingo. You'll be glad you did. We're coming back into the 80s now. And this is I Can Make It Better, number 7 from Imagination. Of course, this was covered in my Dana Myers episode. I did a quick episode about Dana Myers' best songwriting tracks for Solar. Dana Myers passed away earlier this summer, and he was sort of like one of those secret weapons that Solar Records had, in terms of songwriting and production and all of that. And I Can Make It Better. We talk about Dirty Mac, and this is Dirty Mac with a thunderous bass line. Boom, 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 and the strings. And the horns. And again, Walter and Scotty, they come into these women like grown men. He can't, and he spreads his love much too thin, too much to love a woman like you. So if he can't do the job, I can make it better. Gonna be all right. Say love, yeah. That's Lavelle. I can make it better for you. Yeah. You're gonna, it's probably, I called this earlier, the Whisper's most underrated song in their catalog. And I stand on that. Like, I mean, yeah, it went to number 4 on the R&B charts in 1981, so it wasn't that underrated. But when you think about all the stuff that the Whispers have done over the years, I mean, they got some stuff that surpasses, I can make it better in terms of, reputation and legacy. But if you really just want to dance, this is a great 7 minutes of dancing. I mean, Leon Silver's, my God, a production genius. I mean, what hasn't been said about Leon Silver's already that I can say? Just brilliant. And he gave the Whispers what they needed, which was hits at the time. And we ain't done talking about Leon's work with the Whispers as of yet. But before we get to that, we're going to go to number 6. And this is from the 1978 Headlights album. Hearing Scotty sing this a few summers ago in Philly, me and my mom dancing in the aisles of the Dell Music Center. It's a fun time. Let's go all the way. Don't be afraid. It's just one of those irresistible songs with a nice little shuffle to it. Like, like you just like do your little, 1-2 step or your little salsa or whatever. And the Headlights album, everybody was like, yeah, the Whispers, they needed help to go big. And the Whispers album, self-titled, which we'll get to obviously later on in this countdown, put them over the top. But Headlights was a damn good album too. And Let's Go All the Way, I feel like, is a Whispers track that is one of their definitive ones. Because you can just hear the joy in Walter and Scotty's voices when they talk about taking this woman to Love Land. And then you got Marcus, Nick, and Lavelle in the background. Just, don't be afraid. Let's go all the way. Perfect song. Like I said, Headlights deserves your attention as a total album. And Let's Go All the Way is one of the Whispers' best dance tracks. But doesn't make the top 5. Now, this is probably, if it's not my favorite Whisper song, it's pretty damn close. This is In the Raw from the 1982 Love Is Where You Find It album. Another ridiculous Leon Silver's bass line. And this is a song about being true to yourself. Don't choose too fast. Can't judge a book by its cover. What you see is what you get, and read between the lines. Don't place too much faith in someone else's reputation. Watch closely. They might be just a shadow of the person they're supposed to be. Woo! Burn, burn. In the Raw. Just, again, dance songs used to have messages. I mean, people are always like, message music was annoying, but you still heard messages in songs like In the Raw. Like, In the Raw is basically saying, yeah, this person, could be, who you think they are, but you need to see for sure. They can't fake it. You got to see what they're made of, and you can't change it because everybody's got their own way. I mean, the second verse ends with Walter and Scotty going back and forth saying, just strip away your thought and only speak what's on your mind. Dun, dun, dun. Cause whatever I tell you, it's from the heart, and that's the bottom line. Like, basically saying, yeah, you can think what you want, but you need to hear it from me first. You need to hear it from me first and foremost. So, In the Raw, great song. Like, again, great dance track, but a dance track with a message. Number 4, we going back to the Imagination album. And of course, this is the better known dance track from Imagination. It's a love thing. If you have never heard the Whispers do this live, you have missed out. And I'm talking about, I saw it when it was just Walter, Scotty, and Lavelle. Nick was already ill the first time I saw the Whispers. He was already off tour. But just hearing Walter and Scotty and Lavelle do It's a Love Thing. Imagine this with Nick and Marcus. You lucky people in the 80s, I tell you. It's a love thing. Every time that you're near, it becomes so clear. And this is another one that did them a great service. I mean, it's kind of like I can't say which part 2 it is because we're going to get to that song in a few minutes. But It's a Love Thing absolutely is one of those canon Whisper songs. Like, it's one that you can't talk about the Whispers and not mention. It's absolutely up there in the pantheon of great Whisper songs. And it's another one of those, the guitar lines gets me. I might have did that a little too fast. My BPMs are not what they should be. But yes, it's a love thing. Another one of those great Whispers tracks. It's something that, you need if you're in a certain age and you hear that song, I mean, for one, the intro, the keyboard, the organ on the intro. It's a love thing. And the party starts on from there. A party starter. Please believe it. Number 3, another ridiculous Leon Silvers bass line. I mean, Leon Silvers was a self-taught bassist. So Leon was really heavy on making sure his bass line slapped. And Keep On Loving Me might be the slapper of all slappers. This one, of course, also is from Love for Love, from the 83 album. And this video is legendary because of the part where the girl walks by the Whispers and they're all reading the newspaper. Remember when newspapers used to be a thing? That was a fun time when people used to read newspapers. But anyway, the entire group is reading newspapers, and this woman walks by, and the guys just in sync just start dropping the front fold of the newspaper, looking down, saying, "Whoa, look at that woman! Oh, it's time to go party." And I mean, it's one of the great memes ever. Me and the boys about to hit out on the town on a Friday night. And the Whispers had that energy on Keep On Loving Me, especially Scotty. Hey, Scotty. Yeah, what's that mean? That means it's just for my baby to know. You can't go wrong with Keep On Loving Me at any point. I mean, it's just, I mean, again, that bass line. Boom, 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 boom. Just Leon Silvers at his genius best. Number 2, we go deeper into the Whispers legend run with Rock Steady, which of course is one of the great stories ever told because they sung this as a party. Babyface, Ellie Reed, and Daryl Simmons said, "All right, we are going to bring in folks off the street. Y'all gonna sing this live. We gonna cut it live, and y'all just have a good time with it." And that's what the Whispers did. And you hear that energy on the record. And it was so funny because Walter said that, Face in LA said, "All right, we'll be back in a couple days with a song for y'all." And we're like, "You're not gonna write it here with us?" "No, we don't need to. We heard you. We'll come back. You'll like what we got." And what they came back with was Rocksteady. Doesn't get much better than that. And it was another one of those Whisper songs that put those guys on a different planet, because even for a while, white people were singing Rocksteady. I remember that. I do remember that from 87, 88. Trust me. So it's one of those songs that just, it's one of the black songs that's going to outlive us all. And there are a lot of black songs that are going to outlive us all. But Rocksteady is up there on the list. Absolutely. But it's not number 1, because the number 1 song on this list is why the Whispers finally got the respect they deserved. 1980s And the Beat Goes On, from the 1979 self-titled album, The Whispers. And it took the Whispers a long time, 15 years of recording, to get the proper recognition that they deserve. But it took Leon Silvers, it took Steve Shockley and William Shelby of Lakeside putting together this track and saying, "All right, Leon, by all accounts, is a taskmaster in the studio." And Scotty said, "I ain't gonna keep doing this stuff no more," basically. And Lavelle's like, "Come on, man, we got to finish this. This is probably gonna be the biggest record we've ever done." And Lavelle was a prophet, because this thing went to number 1 on the R&B charts, hit top 10 and pop in 1980. And everybody was like, "Wow, who are these dudes with the mustaches?" And the true legend. I mean, the second half of the Whispers career, F. Scott Fitzgerald once said, "There are no second acts in American lives." Well, the Whispers had 2 acts. Trust me. That first 15 years when they were like Chitlin Circuit guys, opening for other acts or supporting on a bill. But by 1980, they were the bill. They were the headliners. And, they just had a great run of success that a lot of groups don't get to have. I mean, bands do. Let me come on side screen for this. Bands have runs of success because they're the ones playing and creating the music. The Whispers, I mean, granted, they could write their own stuff because they produce their own stuff. Them and Dick Griffey worked in tandem on those early Soul Train Solar records. But by the time Leon Silvers got started with them in '79, they started putting their fate in other people's hands. But Leon did great work for them. Babyface and L.A. Reid and Daryl Simmons did a great job for them. And the Whispers just had a 30-year run of undeniable success in different stanzas. I mean, you think about the early stuff on Dore Records, you can actually find that on Spotify, by the way, the Dore years. Go listen to it. The Soul Clock years. That's where the Plans to Life album is on. Go listen to it. The Janice stuff. Whispers Love Story. Bingo. And then, of course, you get to the Soul Train Solar years with, One for the Money, Headlights. And we have not talked about Whisper in Your Ear. Whisper in Your Ear is one of those transitional records because it's between Headlights and it's between The Whispers. But Whisper in Your Ear ain't bad either. It just wasn't anything worth talking about when you talk about the Whispers catalog for greatness. I mean, it's a nice transitional album, but it's something that you really have to, just dig deep to and just, will yourself to listen to. Even though it has one of my favorite Whisper songs on there, Love at Its Best. But overall, the Whispers' career is a study in perseverance. They got together around the time of the Cuban Missile Crisis. And then, through JFK's assassination, Lyndon Baines Johnson's presidency, Richard Nixon's presidency, Gerald Ford's presidency, Jimmy Carter's presidency, for crying out loud. They went through, the Whisperers' career in the early going is just like, you go through the Civil Rights Act, you lose Dr. King, you lose Malcolm X, the rise of the Black Panthers, the fall of the Black Panthers, the fall of Saigon in Vietnam, the sexual revolution in the 70s, people going to watch porn movies in theaters and this type of stuff. And, to get two gas crises, there were two gas. People don't understand there were two gas crises, one in 73, one in 79. So by the time, the Whispers' career is basically American history. If you want to study American history, just look at the Whispers' career and just figure out how long it took those guys to actually blow. And when they finally blew, like the doors were, the doors were open for them, and they well earned it. And it's been fun talking about this group the entire week. When I thought about it earlier last weekend that, Walter and Scotty's birthday is this week, I got to do something. And I just said, you know what? After I clear myself of this Grover Washington thing, if you haven't watched my Grover Washington video about Knucklehead yet, I highly recommend you do. But yeah, I said after that, we doing Whispers all this week. And it has been a thrill to talk about the Whispers this week. Make no mistake about it. It has been fun talking about this group with you guys. If you have never heard the Whispers before, I hope you go listen. But if you are a true Whispers fan, I hope this brought back some wonderful memories. I hope this helps you with dealing with Walter's passing, because I'm still struggling with it. And I didn't know the man. But he was one half of the greatest lead singing duo of twins to ever do it. He was the co-founder of one of my favorite R&B groups. And the fact that, he only battled cancer for 6 months. Cancer sucks, bro. I cannot say that enough. And Black men, we have got to go to the doctor. And I'm not doing this, to be patronizing or anything, because Walt was 81. Things happen when you get older. So it's not his fault. Definitely wasn't his fault. But we just, as Black men, cancer is higher for us than it is our counterparts. So we really just need to be all sorts of health challenges are higher for us as Black people. So we have to be mindful of that. But just being able to talk about the Whispers this week with you guys has been an absolute joy. Again, if you have not listened to the Whispers before, go do so. But if you have, I hope this has brought back some wonderful memories. I hope you can listen to the music and smile, because I've been smiling all week. And that's going to do it for this ride on the Groove Line. This was a fun trip down Whispers Lane, and we'll probably do more of these. There'll probably be more weeks and, days dedicated to certain artists, but, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But it's been fun. So if you want to keep up with me and everything we're doing on the Groove Line, we have a Facebook page. I'll put that in the description. We have a website, a news site that I need to update. When you're a one-man band, it is hard to, produce a podcast and then write news articles about music. But I'm going to get to that. There's an On the Groove Line website. That's in the description. We're on Instagram at On the Groove Line. We're on Blue Sky. I did have a Twitter account, but that one, I ain't bothering with that one too much, because look who owns Twitter. But yes, this has been fun talking about the Whispers. I thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you had some good memories. And just listen to the Whispers and be glad that, we got Walter and Scotty as long as we did, and the group as long as we did, as long as we have. And Just keep listening. Just keep on loving them. That's it. Just keep on loving them. So thank you for riding with me on this ride on the Groove Line. We will be back next week with some new artists. Well, not new artists, but new discussions about old school artists and different things of that nature. Still working on some guests for you guys. Can't wait to bring some new guests onto the show. So thank you guys for riding with me. Enjoy your weekend. I am going to enjoy my birthday weekend. So until the next time, may you find the groove, or may the groove find you.